On April 1st, 2009, I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon rectal cancer.
I was diagnosed January 2011 with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
In February 2009, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
In 2002, I was diagnosed with melanoma. In 2006, I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. I am now awaiting surgery at Duke next month because the concern is that I now also have thyroid cancer.
Welcome to Beginnings, a program about the founding of Women of Hope. You know, very often an organization such as Women of Hope begins when something personal happens to you.
And that's exactly the way Women of Hope started. When we received a call from our daughter in August of 2009 that she had received a cancer diagnosis.
Kelly being only 32 at the time, you know, we tried to talk with her about what we may need to do. And after the conversation, I cried. A little later, I cried some more. But what did Kelly do? She inspired us.
So I'm Kelly Barnes, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in August of 2009. I had had a little history beforehand and wasn't sure if what I was feeling was scar tissue from a previous surgery or if it was something new. And so my new doctor decided to send me for an ultrasound just to be sure. And when I went for the ultrasound, they said, oh, well, we'd like to do a mammogram and then an ultrasound. So that day I was treated to both. And the radiologist who did the biopsy came in and said, do you have a good support system? Do you have a lot of friends in the area? I know you said your family's out of town. And I just thought she was making this great conversation. She was, really nice. And she said, well, I'm asking you this because I'm 99% sure the biopsy I just did is cancerous. In fact, I'm off tomorrow, but I'm going to come in and look at these results personally and give you a call. Which she did, and she called and said, yes, it is cancer. So I was like, okay, what do we do now? You never want to call and tell somebody you have cancer. And I almost think it was harder for them to deal with than for me. I wasn't there, so I couldn't physically see their reaction. I had to do it over the phone. But I know after talking with Miss Dawn, a very good friend and lady who works for them, she said they hung up the phone and just cried. And that breaks my heart. The last thing I want to do is to hurt my parents. And that's a kind of hurt you have no control over. And so Mom flew down. We talked to doctors here in Atlanta. And then I flew up to Wilmington and met Dr. Bebb and Dr. Kays. And it was just very clear that I needed to do my surgery there in Wilmington.
I thought that my role would be primarily that of a friend in the medical field who would provide information, but as the Lord would have it, Kenny and Elizabeth and Kelly thought they would like to have her treatment up here to be treated by people that they knew, and also so that Kelly would be near where she could recover at home in the tender care of Kenny and Elizabeth. At the time of surgery, of course, we only had the sample. We didn't know the whole story of her breast cancer, but obviously we gained more information. So when we removed the breast, we actually put a little dye into the breast that allows us to find the first lymph node that drains the breast. Sadly enough, and I really felt the pain even in the operating room, knowing Kenny and Elizabeth and how much they're special people and they love their daughter so much. Not information I wanted to share, but knew it was going to have to be shared. they the lymph node did have cancer in it, but the Lord was gracious to her, and Kelly was patient and went through the various hoops and steps that she needed to and recovered quite well.
I stayed an extra day in the hospital because of the pain and was a little nervous about going home. The hospital bed was pretty helpful, being able to raise you up and lay you down. When I got home, Mom and Dad had to help me do everything. I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I couldn't sit up in bed by myself. I couldn't lay down by myself. I couldn't walk by myself. I was totally dependent on them, and they were always there. I never cried about the cancer, and I know people must find that really hard to believe. I just wanted it to be fixed. I just wanted it to be better. The time that I cried was when they brought me back to Atlanta, and it was the day that they were leaving, and I still couldn't get out of bed by myself, and I got mad. And I remember Daddy coming in, and he said, "It's about time you cried." And again, I wasn't crying because I had cancer. I was crying because I was in pain. They were leaving, and I knew it would upset them to leave me, and I was mad, and I couldn't get up. I was frustrated. Sometimes you just have to muster up the strength and the courage, and once you do it and you realize you can do it, you say the same thing next time. I've done this, I can do it again. And that's what I did. I figured out a way to make it happen, and it got easier. Even today, when something is difficult, I say, look where you've come. Look where you were, and look where you are now. You can do this.
I think that I was certainly encouraged by Kelly. Kelly is somebody who receives such information as from the Lord. She certainly had her moments of sadness. They weren't. She doesn't wear them on her shoulder or on her sleeve. They're more internal and private, I believe. But she was very sturdy, very strong through the treatment. Little did we know that she would be engaged one day and have many other exciting things to look forward to in life. But that's part of the joy of helping people to live long and productive lives. And I think she does so for the Lord, which is that which gives it eternal reward.
A support group is vital to a cancer patient to make that cancer journey. And hopefully that's what we were to her.
We just learned so much. We learned what wasn't there. We felt like in the founding of Women of Hope that we needed to try to be there for that survivor and for that caregiver, to try to help them in education, to try to help them in financial support. But as Elizabeth says so often to a survivor, you're really scared of what you don't know. So education is so vital and so powerful.
After my cancer diagnosis, I felt very alone. I was desperately needing some type of support system. I had asked my doctors if there was anything in New Hanover County. I had been online. I had done everything that I knew possibly to do, and there was just absolutely nothing out there for colon rectal. I fortunately ran into someone who invited me to a Celebrate Hope luncheon with Women of Hope, and when I attended that meeting, I felt deep down in my heart that that was something that I was really missing, and that would be just totally kind of a piece of my heart that needed to be healed. I attended the meeting, and I have met such wonderful and strong women, and it's become such a part of my life that I am now the director in New Hanover County of the support group meetings.
My relationship with Women of Hope has been such a huge support that I wanted to give back. So that's why I volunteered to be support coordinator for the Pinter and Duplin area, so that I can give other women the same support that Women of Hope has been giving me for the past 4 years.
They've made a huge difference in my life as far as support groups, the healing and pampering sessions, and just events, and having a camaraderie of a circle of friends and fellow survivors that have gone through the same battle that I've gone through.
When I found Woman of Hope, I was very glad to find out that it's for women of all types of cancer that can come here and get the support. And especially now, since I am being diagnosed now with the possibility of also having a thyroid cancer. I'm very glad that I have the support group from the Woman of Hope that I can depend on for the support that's needed through all of this.
In a world where families are spread across the country and where there are financial pressures to various medical diagnoses, a number of needs arise. Not everybody has the family support. Not everybody has a connected church community or a group of individuals that will pour into their life at a time of need. And Women of Hope does step into that. You just can't replace somebody saying, yes, we've been through this with my daughter. And that raises a lot of credulity for people, because you'd rather have breast cancer yourself. You'd rather die yourself than see your daughter go through breast cancer. And so I think when somebody else hears that, hey, here you are fighting the battle and you went through this with your own daughter, there is a willingness to listen, and the patients seek Kenny and Elizabeth out for that.
It's Kenny's and my hope that as parents and as fellow community residents here, that we hope that we have inspired you to make a difference in the community. That now that you know a little bit more about Women of Hope and our story of why we founded this organization, because of the inspiration of our daughter, that you're going to be inspired to provide hope. Hope is a great inspiration. And you can certainly support Women of Hope through your prayers, through your volunteerism, and certainly through your financial support.
We are thankful that Kelly is in remission. We are thankful we still have her. She truly has been an inspiration to our lives. I was talking with her the other day on the telephone and made a comment that even as a child, she always made the best of circumstances. We are parents that, if there was correction that needed to be done, if we had to stand her in the corner, she found someone to talk to in the corner. And she was always someone that just made the best of everything. She always is laughing. She always is an inspiration.
And we welcome you always to call to attend any of our fundraising opportunities, and to please refer us to your family and to friends who might need our services. Thank you, and God bless.